Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the 2023 X7 M60i. So brand new life cycle impulse, which is BMW speak for refresh, mid-cycle refresh, you can give it that way. So this one is an Alpine white, and lots to talk about in terms of changes. So first up, it's now got a new V8 engine. It's powered by the S68 V8. It's also set up with a mild hybrid system. It's not a plug-in hybrid, it's a mild hybrid system. It's electric assist. So the new S68 motor is not based on a production V8. It's basically a motorsport engine, that hence the S designation. So normally that'd be, say, based on, say, something like the B68 if that existed, or previous generation N63 was the basis for the S63 V8. So it puts out the same power as the outgoing M50, so 523 horsepower and 553 torques. So imagine when the S68 makes its appearance in, say, the X7 perhaps, or the next gen M5, it's going to be much more powerful than this car is. So up front, obviously a big change in the front fascia. So you now have the split headlights. So you can see the running lights are on, and the headlights are sort of hidden, which makes it look like a black thing going on here. So headlights are over here, hidden kind of that way. Up front, we've got the driving assistance professional package, so a bigger sensor up front. We have our badging M grille. I don't really like this look on the M Performance cars, but that's where it's going right now. Not double slack grills, but definitely a much more aggressive front fascia and grille. Bigger, and again, Shadowline package which blacks out the grille. So we'll have a look at the chrome when that comes in. Alright, so you're probably wondering, why the change of venue? I got chased off from a garage, so now I'm over here at Shoreline Park. So let's continue where we left off. So we've got the car off right now. So I'm going to do a remote engine start. Show you a light up for the daytime running lights. You can see now the car is off, the grills are closed, so we do have active kidney grills. So this is the key. So it looks very much like the iX key. However, it's more of a gloss black, which obviously is going to be very prone to scratching. But nice M stripes there, M colors. So a little bit of a dent. All right, so get a little closer look at the headlights, split headlights. So you can see it's sort of blacked out effect. Basically it's like a shadow line light. So I wonder how this is going to look against a blacker or darker car. So we'll have a look at that when the cars come in. So obviously this is not going to be the first X7 M60i video you guys are seeing. So over on the side we got 755M wheels. They are in black. They are 22-inch wheels. And right now I have the ride height basically at its lowest setting. So this is a basically entry and egress setting. It does not stay this way while you're driving. Basically looking at it like a slammed wagon. So the side, to me, there's probably some slight differences here, especially with like the hockey stick thing. I think that's a little bit different. But the side profile is roughly the same. But one thing they did add, the mirror caps are now M style, which again, I think just belongs on the M cars. That's just my opinion. It's not a styling cue I like at all in these M Performance models. Out back, we've got some changes as well. So gone are the cerium gray badging. So that's basically being removed from the M Performance models. X7 badging in basically chrome, if you want to think of it that way. And your M60 badging. Taillights look a lot sharper. So there's a shadow line effect going on here as well. And sort of a chrome strip rather than a light bar across the back. So if this is a light bar, I think Doug DeMere will be quite happy with it. So we've also got the trailer hitch on this particular model. And our exhaust tips. Now, the engine's on. This is a really quiet V8 once it's on. So I'll insert a startup, basically a cold start video on this one, and then we can probably do a warm startup and see how that changes the tone of this rather quiet V8. So maybe it's just the market for this particular vehicle, the X7. Maybe loudness isn't what you want from your V8. You want power, quietness, and smoothness, and I think that's what you're going to get from the new S68. So we've got our M Sport calipers in blue on this particular build. So this was a customer ordered vehicle. Unfortunately, they had an individual option. That's going to be that Atlas Grey combination leather. That's an individual option. You choose that, your car order will be locked after a certain date. That's what happened. So the customer wanted to get some changes and we couldn't do it anymore. So luckily we had another M60 we could modify for that customer. So that car is going to be coming in later. I guess other of note, you might want to think about pure gray silver, which is another option. So we had two cars, we have two cars on order with that color, one a customer order, one for a dealer stock. That's been delayed. So they're originally supposed to be built in September or perhaps August, I can't remember which. But either way, now they're pushed to December and January. So we're going with pure metal gray, pure gray. If you're going with that particular color, be mindful that it's going to cause some delays. I probably said it wrong. It's pure gray, frozen pure gray, that's it. So here's our Atlas Gray and basically white interior, ivory white. So very similar in style to the, I think it was night blue and ivory white combination that was on the last year's model. You get Atlas Gray on top. Again, it's hard to see here because the sun's basically beating down. So there's going to be lots of changes. Obviously, the biggest one here is iDrive 8. And your gear selector is now this little nub here. So similar to the LCI 3 series as well as the iX. All right, so excuse a little bit of the glare here. So it's just more of a camera effect rather than what you'd see in the car itself. It's much more black and much more clear to see. So it's not fully representative of what's going on here. But here's your setting in Sport Plus. Now I'll insert a video portion here going over the ambient lighting in the dark. All right, so I got chased off, so I'm going to hopefully do a quick little video here with the interior lighting. So obviously the big change here is this sort of light bar here with ambient lighting with the M badge at the end here. Now it changes based upon the mode you're in. So I'm in Sport Plus, so it's a lot more aggressive. That's hence the red, but I did select blue. So if I change the comfort mode, now we get the blue highlights here in the cabin. So I want to make sure you guys can see this. You have to do it quickly in the parking garage before I get chased off again. But pretty cool features, and we'll go over the rest of it. Which changes based upon not only what your interior lighting is selected as, but also the drive mode. So that's pretty cool. The other thing here is when you first get this car, actually let me go ahead and I'll show you what that. So you can see there's a run-in period for this vehicle. I believe it's about 300 miles. So obviously this car has a little bit of mileage on that just because it has to be transported from the rail depot up in Richmond down to the dealerships by car. Basically they drive them down rather than ship them on a truck. That's changed in the last couple of months. So cars do arrive with some miles on them. We've got iDrive 8 over here. We do have driving assistance professional package. Now you notice the button layout is quite different than it has been in the past. So before you had your following distance buttons on the side here, that is gone. So you all have to do that through iDrive 8. So you can still turn on the system and change modes here, but to get to the following distance, you have to go into vehicle apps, and then you go into driving settings. Oops, let me go down here. And then to driving assistance, or should be driver assistance, and then driving, and then you can go down to distance control. So this is where you're going to make all of those changes through the iDrive system. Now, Obviously, you probably want to make sure that you have a shortcut set up in iDrive 8 to get this rather than trying to do this while driving. That can be a little bit on the difficult side. Again, lots of things you have to get used to on iDrive 8. So again, climate control buttons gone. You have to use the climate menu, but you still can use the iDrive controller to do most things except for changing temperature. So you can use that by touch or voice, whichever one you want to work with. So we've also got a really weird setup here with the vent controls. So now it's this little knob here, or nub. They can change how it's blowing air or where it's blowing air to. So really unusual, a little bit, I don't know, I wouldn't say flimsy, but definitely a weird setup that you'd have to get used to. So definitely a brand new thing. Here's your M trim. So other thing we got to talk about is the tachometer display. Now most of the time it's going to be a power display. So the way you change that is pressing that hamburger menu button on the steering wheel and then using the arrows to go over to content. So in sport mode, you're not going to be able to change how it's displayed, so you should get the tachometer right away. But if you were to go into comfort mode, you can change the layout. And what you can see is you have the power percentage over here. And if you go up 1, you're back to the tachometer. So that's how you get to the tachometer. There's no settings within the display layout. But that's how you're going to end up doing that. So go back into Sport Plus. It's a much more aggressive looking thing. So otherwise, other than the console and iDrive 8, as well as the button down here, not a lot has changed after that. So again, parking button down here to go into park. Parking brake, auto hold, hill descent, control, your driving modes. All that's very much the same. So let's talk about pricing. So starting price of the X7 M60i is $103,100. The paint is included no matter what you get, except for, say, individual or something like Tanzanite or Aventura Red, things like that, or Amateur, I think is the other one. Driving Assistance Pro package, another $1,700. M Sport Pro package for $300. Climate Comfort package for another $1,600. And what else we got here? We got the trailer hitch for $600. Glass controls for $650. Second row captain's chairs, which we'll discuss in a moment, $850. All told, MSRP for this one is $112,495. So it does come standard with Harman Kardon. There is an option for Bowers & Wilkins. I think that one's now $4,500. So we'll have a few of those coming in. So hopefully we'll get those on the channel and show you what Bowers & Wilkins looks like. All right, so here's our second row captain's chair. So again, if you want to have comfort and luxury, I think this is the way you want to go. You're going to lose some space for storage. So other thing, the floor mats. Let me scroll over here. So you have a little piping in ivory white. So a pretty nice touch that we've seen on other vehicles as well. Atlas Grey highlights on the seats. All right, so we'll take a look at the back seat as well as I wait for this middle row to get out of the way. So in the back seat, you do have, decent legroom and decent headroom. Your 5-zone climate control, so this is the 5th zone for the rear passengers. So it's not bad back here. Take a look at the trim as well, so you get some illuminated ambient lighting back here as well. Also a cup holder. USB port as well, USB-C for the back passengers. Our anthracite headliner. And you have another moonroof, or should be sunroof back here. But that's it for that back seat. So nothing changing from there, from the 2022. All right, so door sill badging. You got the M60 badging on the driver and passenger side. Front doors only. Let's take a look at the back seat. So other thing I noticed, this little pattern in the tail lights is also repeated up here in the front. I don't know exactly what this is. It's not really a vent. The vent is down here. So I'm not sure what this actually does, but interesting design. Alright, probably should try kick to open, so I'll do kick to close as well. Nothing back here has changed. We have controls back here for moving the seat positions as well. So again, for the captain's chairs, your max luggage space is only going to have the third row fold down and the second row move up slightly but not fold down. So keep that in mind if you want to go for storage. So powered lower tailgate as well. Actually, I can't do kick to open because it's got a trailer hitch. I forgot about that. So it wouldn't have it anyway. We'll take one more walk around the X7 M60i. So I think we're back into the Sport Plus. I think it's one setting up for the ride level, or height level, I should say. But obviously a lot of interesting changes going on here with the X7. So the front fascia with the split headlights, that's going to appear also on the new 7 Series as well as the i7. As far as I know, that's only going to appear on those top level cars. So you would include the 8 Series on that, but that's already gone through its LCI. And it remains to be seen whether or not that will survive to a second, or technically I guess a third generation 8 Series. So if that does happen, this is probably what you're going to see the 8 Series front look like. Obviously it'll be slimmer, probably. But that's it for that quick tour around the G07 X7 M60i, this one in Alpine white. Let me know what you think about this car. If you have any questions about it as well, please drop those in the comments and we'll try and address them at the next video. See you there.